I think we're live, Sylvia.
I think we are, John. Hi, everyone.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look. If you are there already, guys, as usual, just let us know where you are dialing in from. You can do that in the questions. It'd just be really good to have you say hi. I'm looking for anybody. We've got quite a few already. Recognize any of those names, Sylvia?
I do. I see very. Oh, hi, Sabrina. She was going to attend today. Hi, Joe Hobbs.
Hobbsy's in there as well.
Hi, Rosie. Hi, Mary. Hi, Harry. There's an Andrew Mabot here.
Charlotte's from London. Hey, Charlotte. Deb's from cloudy Springfield, Illinois. Well, I tell you what, maybe cloudy, but I bet it's better than it has been here, which has been thoroughly. So we'll give everyone another minute and a half to get in and get cozy, and then we'll get on with it. And I think today, this one, I think is going to be my favourite webinar in such a long time, Sylvia. I don't know about you.
I think it's a good one, John. I think you've got some really good insights here, and a really very new understanding of what's happening in the SERPs.
Yeah, and I think today, hopefully, at the end of the day, people can go away and think a little differently. Are we worried about the right things or the wrong things? And there are lots and lots of different parts to this story, but in the end, it all comes back together with a new view on what you need to do to really build your organic performance in 2025, because it's different. It's different than it was last year.
It's changed so much.
It has. Right, so let's give it another 10 seconds and then we'll get going. Anybody else from outside of the UK or even inside the UK, just let us know in those questions. Can't just be Charlotte and Deb. But, we'll let you guys do that. But okay, well let's kick off, shall we? So this is all about the SERP. This is all about the changes that we're seeing. Are we getting too obsessed with the AI overview? Are there other things that we should be worrying about? Are there things that are just not on our radar that we need to be thinking about? So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm John Earnshaw. I'm the Chief Product Evangelist at Datametrics. Most of you will know Sylvia. If you don't, Sylvia, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Sylvia. I'm Senior SEO Manager here at Pi. I've been in Pi for, I think it's going to be 6 years. Wow. Very happy to be here with you today again.
Well, thank you for joining me, Sylvia. And I've just seen we got Mary from Las Vegas. Well, that sounds a little bit more glamorous than London, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So without any more ado, then, usual format for today. If you've got any questions, just drop those into the questions as we go. We may answer some on the fly. We can always answer some at the end. And I promise you, if we don't get around to answering them, we always answer them after the session. Okay, user reactions, give us thumbs up, give us some hearts, give us anything like that you can. It just shows us you're still on the call. Thank you, Simon and Rebecca, for those lovely hearts. And also, at the end of today, or even during today, if there are any topics you think, oh my goodness, I wish I knew more about that, or how's that different to how it was last year, then again, just drop us a comment, email us, connect on LinkedIn, and then hopefully we can get into the weeds of those things that you want to hear about. But for today's agenda, we're going to talk about the SERP that we love so much, that we spend so much time exploring. I know you do as much as me, Sylvia. It's not just me, is it? Tell me it's not just me.
Well, I think you've got a bit of an obsession, John, to be fair, with the SERPs. But I do find them, I mean, the best, as you always say, it's the best representation of the searcher's intent. So we need to pay attention to them. They are telling us, they are whispering at us. We just need to pay attention to what they whisper to us.
Absolutely. And again, I'm just looking at your background again. For those of you who haven't seen this before, a lot of the team I work with, they take shots of my shed and they use it as their background. So Sylvia, looks amazing. Looks better on you than it does on me.
Oh no, it doesn't. Thank you.
Let's start with our first poll. As SEOs, as digital marketers, are we too obsessed with Google's AI overview? Because that's all you're hearing about these days. No, we need to see where it's going, so we love the obsession. B, yes. Yes, we're obsessed. Let's freaking get back to some good old SEO. C, I'm on the line. D, yes, there's no going back. Let's get obsessed. Well, don't know what you would say. What do you say to that, Sylvia?
I think there's a bit of an obsession, especially building that into the narrative of companies. Everyone keeps telling you, or your stakeholders, oh, we need to start thinking about the AI overview. When in fact they won't give you the tools and everything that, and give you enough liberty to build a strategy for which you will. Let's move, as we've been saying, let's move away from the trophy keywords and let's build conversation. Well, I mean, don't get me started, John, because
But you're right, though, Sylvia. You're right, and I want to get onto that. So please don't forget that obsession with the trophy terms. It's time we moved on. Okay, the poll is in. I think. What do we got? 45%. Yes, it's right to be obsessed. There's no going back to how it was before. Second, no. We've heard too much. We still need to be obsessed, but let's see where this is going. So yeah, and 9% on the line. 9% is good to get back to some good old fashioned SEO. Okay, right, wonderful. So moving on, let's look at the SERP. Now, hang in there. This is a bit of a story, guys, and we're going to start, as we always do, with a search. Don't look too closely at the number of fingers on those hands, everybody. Sylvia, stop it. I don't want to know. No comments. Yeah, I know one of them's got 18 fingers, but that doesn't matter. If you wanted to know how to win at blackjack and you were going to search for it, let's go back in time. Let's go back in time to April 2024. And there's a reason we're going back to April, as you'll see in a minute. That was the SERP. Boring. What do we got? We got an answer card. People also ask 10 blue links. Nothing else. Nothing else. What do you think of that SERP, Sylvia?
it's boring.
It's really boring, isn't it?
Yeah.
So not long after that, something happens that Google actually had announced before. Sylvia, you know what that was?
Yes, it was the spam update. It was announced in March, and I think it started rolling out around the 5th of May, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was the 5th of May, the day after Star Wars Day, or whatever they call it. So yeah, Google improved Spam Brain. So Spam Brain is essentially the spam algorithm or collection of algorithms. And what it was trying to do, and this is what Google said, we want to improve the quality of the SERP, of search. Okay, we don't want all this content that looks like it was just designed to attract clicks, and we want the content to be more useful. So what did Google do? Well, this is what they promised. Let's clean up 40%, 40+% of the results that are either not helpful, commercially tainted. Sylvia, we talk about that all the time. I know that's a bugbear of yours. Yeah.
Yes.
And any of those really stand out to you?
I mean, the commercially painted one is, I think it's key. Sometimes you just need to prove to Google that you're basically putting content out there to educate people or to make people make a more informed purchase decision without any other commercial intent behind it. Maybe you have another page where you are selling the product or you're selling the service, but this page that you're trying to rank with, it needs to be, not commercially tainted.
Exactly, and it's a trap that we all, even as experienced SEOs, we do fall into that. So the spam update itself was divided into 3 different parts. Now, we've kind of forgotten about one of those, but the thing that really hit hard, and let's go back in time and remind ourselves, was the update that really focused on site reputation abuse. And I think this is an incredible example. This was The Independent, who literally lost all their visibility for all of that content that wasn't created by them, but it was created by somebody else who saw that's a nice domain. I'm going to hang my content off the back of it, make a load of money, and give the independent the commission. That doesn't work anymore.
Not
So what I really want us to discover today, Sylvia, is, has the spam update worked? Is the SERP better? Is it worse? And what else is in the mix that we need to really think about? So it's time for our second poll. Forget the AI overview. What do you think of the SERP? And I know, Sylvia, you've probably got your opinions on the SERP. And there's our choices. It's a better place with more choice. Less spammy, more spammy. It's all of the above. I'm just confused as heck. What would you go for, Sylvia?
It's all of the above. It really varies, doesn't it? And I find, I mean, my main pet peeve these days is seeing Reddit all over the place. I don't think that Reddit will give you, sometimes it won't give you what you need. And I get the appeal of having Reddit at the top of the SERPs to answer for, very informational queries, but sometimes I would rather hear from an authority rather than or an expert rather than someone who just writes in a forum.
Somebody who just happens to be in the conversation. It's
Yeah.
almost like when you hear a tidbit of something and suddenly become an expert on it. You do
Yes.
a lot of that in Reddit. But let's see what people. Okay, 71%. It's all of the above. I'm just confused.
Same.
They agree with you, Sylvia, and I would say, yeah, my response would depend on what I'm looking for, when I'm looking for it, and how I'm looking for it.
Yeah.
As we'll see today, it can really depend. So thank you to everybody who responded on that one. So as well as Google trying to clear up the SERP, and that's had some big changes, as we'll see, there's been something else going on over the past few years that's kind of slipped under the radar, and it got us thinking. How is search behavior changing? So Google's working really hard on the back end on the technology, but we've got people searching in very different ways, and you and I talk about this, and I think it's fair to say, whenever we go and meet with a client, we ask them, how do you guys search? I think we did last week or the week before, we had a session.
We had a session, and there were very young people there, I have to say, which made John and myself feel very old. But they were saying some were saying that they are searching with Search GPT.
Yep.
So not only, I think it was a bit of a mix of everything. Not only are they searching in Google, but they're also searching on TikTok. Some of them said that the first port of call was TikTok, and it was no longer Google.
Yeah, that I remember, and I remember who said that. And we're going to come on to that in a minute, and we're going to come on to what Google's doing about this, because this is crucial, guys. So in order to beef up our research, so I know every time I give a lecture, I ask my students, guys, search for something, tell me something, and then I ask them how they did it. And the results are astonishing. But of course, we went also to Gemini Deep Research. And tell me, what do you love about it?
I'm in love with Gemini. I have to say, it helps me so much, especially when I'm working with content people and they are, trying to create strategies for the blogs or etc. It's just an endless resource there, and it's coming from Google itself. So just have everything at your disposal. It goes into such depths. It lays it out in such a clear, concise way. I mean, I can't say anything bad about Gemini.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
And anybody out there who hasn't tried Gemini Deep Research, check out the last webinar where we talked about it. Or if you want to know some more information or you want a session on that, then just let us know. But anyway, so Gemini Deep Research analyzed 80, not just websites. I like to think of conversations of assets, a lot of videos, a lot of really up-to-date information, really to discover how are people searching. And here's just a few tidbits. 74% of Gen Z use TikTok for search. 94% of Gen Zers trust influencers. Me personally, I think the age of the influencer is fast on the decline, as people would rather hear from authentic, real people. What do you think, Sylvia?
I 100% agree with you, John. I think influencers, they've been tainted as well. They've collaborated with brands, they've been paid by brands, and you can no longer trust them as you trusted them 10 years ago, for example.
You're so right. They've been tainted in the same way that affiliates have been tainted, in the same way that so many have. And this
Yeah.
is part of the cleanup. So we took all of this information, all of the research, all of the anecdotes, all of our conversations with clients to really ask the question, how do different generations search? So as we go from boomers, none of us in this room, I can tell you, hands up, are boomers. It was a close call, but we've got Gen X. As you move from Gen X towards Gen Alpha, we can forget about Gen Alpha for a minute, maybe. We're moving from old school, boring Google search, looking for really well trusted, comprehensive articles, wanting to get into the weeds, moving across to shorter conversational questions, mainly mobile, integrated with social media. Happy to do a bit of searching here, a bit of searching there, and a bit of searching there, and see where it joins up. And then as we get into Gen Z, favoring platforms like TikTok, like Instagram, what are they looking for? Curated, easily scrollable results. And this is where TikTok comes in. So given all of this, given not only the technology changing, not only all of this stuff happening to Google, Google knows this.
Oh, yeah.
Google knows this, and Google is starting to react. So given all of this, we've got to think differently. You get 100 people in a room of different ages and you ask them a question like, how do you, we're going to ask you guys a question in a minute, but whatever question you ask them, whatever they're trying to solve, they will all go to different surfaces. Yep. And it's so crucial to understand where they're searching or what the conversations are, because those conversations that are fundamental to the relationship between brands and their audiences, underpinned by trust. And I saw so much TikTok, and you mentioned TikTok, and this is why Gen Zs, and you ask them, why do you love TikTok? Why do you search? Because it's personalized. Google's always tried to personalize the SERP. It never happened. It will eventually be personalized down to query.
Yeah.
For example, voice, keywords, different results. Real life, transparency, engagement. Does that kind of resonate with what you've heard, Sylvia?
Oh yeah. Yes. That's what the younger generation are looking for. They just
Our audience. That's our audience.
yeah, exactly.
So what I would love to do now, guys, and so to everybody who's watching, thank you so much for being there. I'd love to ask a quick poll. Okay, imagine you're going on a new city break, not somewhere you've seen before or been before. How would you search? Where would you search? Would you use AI? Would you go straight to Perplexity? Would you use only social media, Google keyword, Google Voice, or any voice? No voice. This is something I've been obsessed with, the way people search for at least 50 years. Looking like a combination is the
Yeah.
big one. Maybe that alludes to the fact that the audience, the Gen Z, who knows? Or maybe it's outside of Gen Z that we're seeing this combination of searching. No one said voice. Guys, breaking my heart. Maybe it is just me, as my son said. Okay, wonderful. So polls closed. The winners are the combination. So you're all okay. TikTokers are more the problem. Okay, so we're getting some comments in here. If you search a lot on some of those social platforms, just drop that in as well, and we will get round to your questions as well, Simon, and also Deb. So we know that people are searching differently. We know that according to who they are, they will go to a different surface. So let's just recap for a minute. Okay, the story so far. We looked at the SERP in April 2024 for that search on how to win at blackjack. Okay, now that was before the spam update, which was announced, as you said, Sylvia, in March, rolled out in May. We know that people are bored with blue links. I'm bored with them, and I eat them for breakfast. Okay, we know that depending who you are, you search differently. We know what's key: authenticity, diversity, real voices, video. So what would you do if you were Google, Sylvia? What would you do? Because they're going to be losing people to all these other surfaces. What would you do?
I think I would do what Google is doing, is bring everyone in. Just come
Come
to
in.
me.
Come to me. It's like, this image here. We've got people walking past your store to another store. Where are they going? They're going past my store. Okay, I'm going to open my door. I'm going to get some of the stuff that they're buying down the road, and they're going to come in. So let's get back to the story. The original story,
Mm-hmm.
the original question.
How to
How to
win
win
a
a blackjack. And the SERP before, from my memory, 10 blue links.
an answer card?
Answers,
People
people,
ask.
that was it. Boring as
Mm.
heck. Let's
Right.
look at the SERP today. Okay, now, it's not just the AI overview, which we have at the top there. Okay, let's have a look at what we're looking at. We've got a sizable amount of real estate, given up to the AIO, but
Mm-hmm.
we've also got Quora, we got Reddit, we got 24 video touch points on page one.
That's
We've got
nice.
this, isn't that? But this is becoming the norm,
Mm.
especially for informational queries, especially for informational. And the research that we have done does show that search does vary in the funnel according to the vertical you're in, but this is definitely not isolated. So we're seeing a much more live SERP, a much more conversational SERP. Watching videos, consuming that information. And if you watched last week's webinar, you might have seen the ability for Google to actually watch the videos for you. No, that wasn't last week's webinar. That only rolled out last week. You can get Google to watch videos for you, consume the content, and give you the answers. You don't even have to watch videos. Anyway, so we've got a different SERP. That's not 10 blue links. Now,
Nice. It's a very engaging step as well.
it is.
It's
You
very
prefer.
engaging because with those videos, for some of them, you don't even have to leave the SERPs. You can watch them without. So if you click on play, you won't go to YouTube, or you will be watching them within the SERPs, which is what Google likes.
Yeah, and but then I hear people saying, "Oh, that's a zero-click SERP."
Oh, come on.
You know what? It's going to be a zero-click SERP, whatever we say. Do you
Yeah.
want your brand in the mix? Do you want your brand in the conversation?
Do you want
You
to
do?
own the conversation?
Exactly. Own it. Stay in it. Win the final conversion. Okay? The whole model today has changed. Now, what we don't see in here is any TikTok. So just to reassure anybody who thinks that you're not seeing TikTok in the mix, in the organic search, well, not only that, here in Google Organic, you've got YouTube, where people are talking about how to get TikTok videos into Google Organic. And there's some great examples. Layering perfume. Who's winning? Wow, it's Alicia. Alicia and her TikTok video with a perfume sandwich method. I tell you, I'm going to be all over that next week, Sylvia. You'll smell me a mile off coming down the road. And we've got people also, and then we've got those short videos there. So Google, yeah, of course, you can find all your TikTok content here. Don't need to go.
Yep.
I love that. So, in other words, it's all in my store now. Don't walk past.
Mm-hmm.
Before we go, Sylvia, what are your thoughts on TikTok?
Well, I like TikTok.
Yeah,
It's a bit raw sometimes.
yep,
Sometimes a bit too raw for my liking. But you can get, as a brand, you can get so much information about how people are consuming your products and your services there, unfiltered. It's not. It's not. It doesn't have the gloss of Instagram, right? It's more kind of. I'm taking. I mean, it's evolving, but it's still very authentic.
Authentic.
Mm.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, does Google talk about authenticity in its algorithm and helpful content? Probably does somewhere, but it should be in big block capital letters, shouldn't it? It's got to be authentic. And as we'll see in a minute, this is where people on the street, regular people, are winning over those big multi-billion-dollar brands because of authenticity. So as we move on, I want to remind you guys about some research that we did. You may not have seen it towards the back end of last year, where we were analyzing Google's AI overview to see what it takes to get in it. And we looked at one example in particular where we noticed that one big brand was in it one day, out the next. Then in, I mean, it's very dynamic, okay? But the research proved one thing or more, but one thing was interesting, that if you own more than one asset on page one, you're always in it, which means image, classic link or blue link and answer card, and that's where everyone says you can't do it, Sylvia.
No, you can't. In fact, it's very, very possible.
It
You just
is.
have to become a topical authority. Again, we go back to the same concept. Into now more than ever, you need to become a topical authority about your own products and services.
Yeah. Out of all of this, everything that we're talking about, that doesn't like hide the fact that what you said there, Sylvia. Today, you have to be a topical authority. And when I'm thinking topical authority, I don't just mean I mean topic in terms of authority from a video perspective, authority from images, authority from answers, authority from a
Every,
conversation, everything. Which
yeah.
means we kind of got to stop asking the question, are we on page one? And ask the question, well, how many doorways have we opened on page one? You know, you just, as you'll see in a minute, you're on there for a classic link. That ain't good enough. It's
No.
just not good enough. Because with the features we see now, you're just not going to get found. So what do we need to do? Do what we said at the start, obsess with the landscape, study the landscape, track the landscape, that beautiful SERP. And here we can see, this is since the start of this year. You search for men's skincare, the number of video links has doubled. Look in yellow at 11 o'clock, just before 12. They weren't there. There were a fraction of them. Video links, video carousel in totality doubled. All those touch points. We've even got more people also ask. So in this instance for skincare, people don't want images. What they're looking for is video. So you need to know that, where to put your effort.
Yeah.
Drill down in men's skincare. Wow.
This
Isn't that mind-blowing? Literally mind-blowing. I want to actually do that because it feels like my head has just exploded inside my brain and my head. So, Sylvia, can you explain what the matrix, if people haven't seen it?
So this is the SERP matrix which we have in Pi, which basically you have to look at it from a vertical perspective. Every day, underneath each day, you will have how the SERPs look like and which SERP feature was ranking in which position. So on the left-hand side, you will have that from 2024, September 2024. And you can see that it was basically classic links, some images on page one, over the fold, below the fold, and then some video carousels, but way down into page, I would say, top of page two. Jump to February 2025. You got the AI overview. Sometimes it kind of coincides and coexists with answer cards. People also ask which is still present above the fold, but then you can see the yellow kind of circles are video links which can be 1, 2, sometimes 3 on page one, as you can
Yeah.
see there, and then even more so in the rest, below the fold.
And the thing about those video links, as we saw in that example, if you click to explode and you have those different chapters, you can jump, you no longer have to watch a video and hope that it will have the answer you're looking for. Google knows people haven't got the time. You go straight to the chapter that you want. So for me, those video links are a real asset. And if that's my SERP, and that's a term I care about, I'm making videos
You
and I'm
and you
optimizing.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to work hard to optimize those videos. And if anybody wants information on that, just drop it into the conversation, because we've done a ton of work on video optimization. I know you have, Sylvia.
Yes.
So
Extensively.
these are kind of like that's a snapshot of 2 periods of time, but it's also so crucial to analyze the feature landscape. And although I tell people off for calling the AI overview a feature because it's a new search experience, we'll call it a feature for now. And we can see the volatility of all of these
Mm.
features. The AI overview, 22.9% there, drops down to below. It depends on the day. Who's in it depends on how many assets and pieces of real estate they own. Massive presence of people also ask. Video carousel, video links, answer cards. You've got to monitor this on a daily basis. It's essential to know that, number one, the SERP is volatile, that the
Mhm.
features within the SERP are volatile, and what you need to do to get in there. Because when I see that, Sylvia, I want to maximize my presence on page one. I'm not happy with one position. So moving along from there, something that might be ticking but pressing buttons in the back of your mind, and something that is so often neglected and overlooked, is the fact that today, as we're seeing all of this social content within the SERP, we need to align our organic search and social efforts more than ever, for 2 reasons, if there are none others: quality signals and plugging the SERP gap. So if we take quality signals, Sylvia,
Mhm.
can you use social to boost your quality signals to get better organic visibility and an uplift in a core update? Sorry, that's a big question, wasn't it?
It is. It's yeah, no pressure. So how can you use social? I mean, engaging with your customers, being there, having conversations with them, being present, answering their questions, maybe opening up conversations in social with them, so you can understand them better or make them, part of the brand itself.
Mhm.
It's all about engagement.
And that obviously that takes a little bit of effort.
Oh
So
yes.
hollow engagement, inauthentic engagement,
No,
it's not going to work, is it? Because
no,
those
absolutely.
audiences, particularly younger audiences, are going to see through that in a flash.
Yeah.
So, and then plugging the gap. Because remember what we said at the start, Google's clearing 40% of the rubbish out of the SERP, and it's stopping people walking past front door, say, hey, come in. And what's coming in, what's flooding in, is social, authentic, first person, wonderful conversational content. That's
Yeah.
real. Okay, so what I'd love to do now is just illustrate this concept with a couple of short examples. So let's, and I'm bringing this one in because we were looking at this one only the other week, Sylvia. Armani face. I don't know what it is. It's some face product. You know what it is, Sylvia?
It's a foundation.
Foundation, of course. Foundation. So wonderful. So a big brand like Armani, who spends a lot of money on wonderful video content and creating all of this content, should dominate page one. You literally should. A brand search equals 8 links equals nobody else is allowed, unless things have changed, like we've just been talking about.
Mhm.
And who's winning? I'll tell you who's winning. That lady there. What's her name? I can't remember. I looked earlier. But tell
I
you
can
what,
remember that.
she's very she's very cool. Literally above all of the branded content at Armani, below page one, you've got these 10 plus user generated UGC videos. They're killing the brand. Okay. And I watched her video and I thought, you know what? Number one, I totally believe whatever she says, I'm buying it. I'm having it. I'm going to be at Armani face, the layered fragrances. You won't recognize me, Sylvia. So, and in line with what you said just now, she's authentic. She's
Yeah.
literally, and you go back years. And even if she's got a video from 3 years old and somebody makes a comment now, she goes in there and she responds. What a great quality signal.
Yeah.
And And let's remember quality signals, guys. We know the four elements: experience, expertise, authority, and trust. We know that only four of those will apply to the creator of the content. And my word, if I'm looking for content creators, and I'm looking for creators like this with good, authentic followings. So worth a look. She's very high.
Absolutely.
I tell you, she's very high energy. Makes us look like very, very peaceful.
I was doing some research the other day for a customer who was looking into the e-commerce, luxury e-commerce, designer, women's wear, menswear, etc. And one of the sites that have increased their visibility in the last 2 months, I can't name names, but basically what we found, it hadn't increased, the backlink profile. It didn't increase internal links. I mean, I went through everything. I could see the visibility increase until I went to social, compared their social presence in Instagram with other similar companies, and their engagement was way superior to the rest. That was the only factor that I found that was driving that visibility increase.
And to me, Sylvia, that makes so much sense
Mm.
because let's face, all Google's talked about really for quite a while now is quality signals, and every SEO worth their salt talks about quality signals. And there's a reason for that because they're really important, and you can't just assess quality signals looking at a piece of content. So much of it's offsite. So I think that's a brilliant example. So you'll have to tell me who that was when we're off the call.
Yes, I will later.
And I'll tell the world who it was. Having no
You
filter.
can't keep a secret, John.
I can't keep anything. No. So again, moving on, we're looking at emerging UGC within the SERP. Now, this is some luxury fashion. Well, that's the area we're here. And, one thing again we're seeing more and more of. Before, who clicked on people also ask? No one really, except SEOs.
Yeah.
But now we're seeing so much video content, not just in the AIO. Okay, stat 25% increase in 6 months of video in the AIO alone. Oh yeah, that was good. Came out of my forehead. So, and then below that, we've got even more video content. Thank you for the thumbs up, guys. Luxury fashion trends. It's all about video. Reddit. And something, again, that we're talking with so many customers about. Get into Reddit. Have a look at the conversations. What are people talking about? And you want to extract information from Reddit? Sylvia?
Gemini Advanced Deep Research.
Deep research will mine all of that for you. When you're using deep research, the parameters you put in, you can guide it towards certain social channels. The results are phenomenal. Okay, real conversation, real people. It's only SEOs that got obsessed about cheese being glued onto pizzas.
Yes.
There are nutters out there, of course there are. So, what if we say, let's forget the AI overview, let's forget features, let's be boring and satisfy ourselves with just wanting a blue link. All I want to do is get a blue link, a classic link on page one. Well, my friends, our friends out there, welcome to the battle of the blue links. Sounds like we should be playing a game now, doesn't it?
Yes.
Let's visualize this. So let's imagine when we don't care about features. We don't care about the AIO. I don't care about all this nonsense that Sylvia and John are talking about, video. That doesn't really matter. Let's forget Reddit and let's just go for a nice fat blue link on page one. Okay, can I layer luxury perfumes is the question that's on my mind as I wake up every morning. Okay, well, you want a blue link? You've got to get past that lot. Big AI overview. Oh, then you've got to get past that lot. More videos. People also ask, probably full of videos as well. Then you got to get past this lot. Can you see what I mean? If your sole desire in life is a blue link, okay, well, tell you what, hats off Team Glamour. I know who you are. You did a great job there. So, but really we want to be thinking about getting content getting assets, getting features, opening doorways further up. I mean, that's quite terrifying, isn't it, to be satisfied with a blue link?
It is very, it is. And even so, if imagine that you have, because I'm bringing some things that I had on a meeting today, for the keyword best oud perfumes or best niche
Oh yeah.
perfumes. I can't remember what it was, but it was these really cool brand that I work with, or company that I work with, was on position 1 last year consistently with
Yep.
the lovely content. Fast forward to this year, it's Reddit, and you can't shake Reddit off.
Hmm.
So how can you win Reddit even if it's a classic link,
Yeah.
topical authority? And what we were talking at the beginning, also, you need to forget about the commercial. Let's build content that it's not commercially tainted.
Yeah. And you know what? If you have that, of course, people are trying to sell stuff online,
Of
but
course.
back it up with real content that makes you an authority. Then you're authorized to sell. If you're not an
Exactly.
authority, you can't be selling.
Maybe
So,
push your links to your PLPs. Maybe push them down. Let's educate the customer first, and then at the end of it, just put your links there into your lovely products.
yeah. And you know what? You know what, Sylvia? You are so right. And to everyone who's listening, this isn't just two SEOs talking and hypothesizing. This is, or these are the conversations that we're having every single day with our
Yeah.
brand about becoming topical authorities and how to do that. And that's not just by writing content.
No.
It's more than that. It's about relationships, it's about links, it's about assets, it's about optimizing everything in our ecosystem. And it's so
Building
exciting.
that trust, building that trust with your readers, with your users, with your consumers. That trust can only be built if you're transparent with them.
And trust essential to that conversation that connects the brand and the audience. We always come back to trust.
Yeah.
So let's think about winning more of this opportunity. And for many people, this is going to mean a strategic shift, a change in direction, or just doing more. Original SEO still works,
Yeah.
but it won't. Look at that. That's how much it works. But it doesn't work in isolation.
No.
It doesn't. Sylvia, you talk a lot about quality signals. You've already talked about strengthening them off-site through authentic engagement with audiences. Same applies on-site.
Mm.
How many times in the past month have you said to a customer, you've got to get some video content, maybe some short content on your site in that long-form content?
That's a tricky one, John, I have to
Yep.
say, because they always come back with the same response, which is, I mean, fair enough. You always have to take into account their limitations, but sometimes the platforms are not do
Yep.
not support the video I mean, they can support it, but they will make the experience quite
Yeah.
slow. So
Yeah. And that's a challenge. And as CEOs, you
I
know,
get it.
we always face this challenge. And what I'd be doing in that case is really working hard on establishing the relationship. You're going to say it anyway
Yeah.
between the site and social.
Exactly. Or maybe putting that video in just without, just the video on one page,
Yeah.
no more text, nothing, just let it standalone schema markup, you
Yeah.
know the basic, and it will work.
100%. You've mentioned it several times. I have authentic first person content. The Armani face example, we
Mm.
saw that. Those users were killing it over the big brand, big budget,
Yeah.
connecting search and social. And we almost need this. I'm talking with social teams now in ways that I never did before.
Mm.
Really, really coming up with a collaborative approach. So all of that content is being created in social channels. What can I repurpose as part of
Yes.
my web ecosystem? And let me just make that relationship really, really strong. And of course, And we will be taking questions in a second. We've got lots here to go through. You know, if you're a Pi user, you'll know that we're obsessed with the SERP. You'll know that we're obsessed. And that's why. And this is why we created Optimize Now, to really make sure that you don't just get a classic link on page one, but you get onto page one and then you open multiple doorways by optimizing all of those different opportunities. And as well as that, as well as optimizing in context with your ecosystem and the SERP, what we're always saying to customers is start building out conversational groups. Yeah, you must do this every week.
I try to convince people. I think they can be so valuable. We're moving into a very conversational stage of the SERPs.
Yeah.
It's not, the SERP is not, it's no longer a question and answer. It's a conversation. It's a journey. So translating all those questions that your customers may have, and they not two people will create the same query. It won't be best perfumes. It will, what are the best perfumes that I can wear for a summer party? And the other person may change it, but it's the same question. So having all those questions and answering them and being there for your customer and those specific touch points, it's going that is the long-term strategy that we need to start adopting.
1,000%, 1,000%, and it's almost like you can ask somebody, oh, does your content align with the intent of the audience? And you're trying to measure that just with keywords? No, it's a conversation. You can only really measure the degree to which you align with intent with longer questions,
Yes.
conversational, because in themselves, they are closer to intent. So when you take a bunch of things that are really close to intent, you see intent. When you take a bunch of keywords that are far removed from intent at the start of a journey, then you don't see intent. So I'm sorry to say, ASOS, when the conversation hits, you guys probably shouldn't say that, should I? ASOS said it now. Probably going to be a bit of trouble. I'll be thinking about aligning. So as we wrap this up with a final summary, you know, and there's so much to unpack here, guys. And if there are things that you want to drill down on out there, let us know. Don't just obsess with the AIO. Remember, all those other features are your golden ticket to getting in there, which is why you need to own more of that real estate. Stop asking, are we on page one? And ask the question, how many doorways have we opened on page one? 3? Okay, let's go for 4. Okay, stay close to that SERP, obsess with the SERP, and get social and SEO working together much more closely. So with that in mind, why don't we see what questions we've got? We actually managed to finish on time there for once. So
I know.
Any questions that jump out to you there, Sylvia, that you want to?
So I'm looking at Simon, who had to jump out, but he was very keen on us answering his question. At a time when trust in online information is already fragile, do we risk a hollowed out information source where AI-generated summaries consisting of disjointed information pulled from various sources replace detailed and prepared journalism consisting of expert knowledge?
Wow, that was from Simon, wasn't it? Simon Wiley.
Simon
Wiley. Simon from the Telegraph.
Yes, of course.
Thank goodness that example was the Independent. Well, of course it was. Telegraph wouldn't do anything like that. So, I mean, have you got any answers to that one, Sylvia? Hollowed out information. I mean, I guess to a certain extent, you know, when we look that quote from Gartner, and this was about 6 months ago, said like 70% of people trust the AI overview or AI responses. Trust is growing, and technology is advancing at such a pace. And pretty much everybody I'm talking to now says, yeah, I trust it now. I do trust it. I think where we are in danger, unless Google really gets their foot down on this, is currently we've got these AI engines, if you like, that are learning based on all of the content they're finding online. And then we've got everybody who's, I can create a load of free content and just push it up, 100 pieces this week. It's a vanilla AI. So we're getting AI training itself and learning from AI. And it's kind of this vicious circle. But I think Google is starting to come down much harder on scaled content abuse. And I've heard reports of a number of sites that when they try to do this, because that will create this very hollowed out information source, they have lost their visibility very, very quickly and have never, as far as I know, ever managed to come back. So we probably have to
Also,
think a little bit. Go on, Sylvia, go on.
let's not forget that also Google says it favors content that is coming in which you are showing a unique point of view that only you can have. Okay, so let's bring that into the table as well. Let's bring the Telegraph or the Independent point of view into, you know, a piece of content that only you can bring to the table. Okay, that unique perspective, it's going to be, I would say, key into, you know, appearing in the AI overview, because the rest can create content with AI, or the rest can create content, you know, vanilla content
Hmm.
created with AI, but nobody will replace that human experience or that human expertise that you can bring to the table.
Yeah, and that's why, Sylvia, I think Google is going to really dial up the quality signals,
Yeah.
particularly the extent to which it scrutinizes the author off-site,
Yeah.
even more so maybe than on-site. Because how do you find out about this real person? You look at everything they're doing in social, etc.
Yeah.
Um, and there's an sorry, the first question was also from Simon, so it's a bit like a sandwich here. Too much importance on domains like Reddit. Yes, it's user driven, but mostly low quality content. And I'd say it was. There was a lot of low quality,
Yeah.
but things have improved. And the problem here is that people jump on Google as soon as something dumb comes up, like it's the wrong space telescope, or people are told to glue cheese on. Oh my word, the world goes mad. How many
Yeah.
crazy answers have you ever had in ChatGPT where it's been a total hallucination? That doesn't end up on the front pages, does it?
No, of course
Not
not.
anymore. But Google, and what we're seeing, and that's why I love deep research. That's why I love Gemini, because that's going to come into the main algorithm when we get that choice of two worlds: boring world, future world. I know where I'm going. And Gemini, the results are phenomenal. Its
Mm.
ability to select good sources, high double eat sources. I love it.
Yeah.
Um, Age of influences is passing, says Deb. Yet TikTokers are more trusted. Why are they more trusted?
I think they are. I mean, but it will be. I think this is all cyclical. At some point, obviously, all the TikTokers are having brand deals and brand. You know, they're speaking with brands, etc. So at some point, they will be like the old YouTubers or the old Instagrammers, where they are very, again, commercially tainted. But so far, they are
Hmm.
fresh. They are fresh. They are less. I
Yeah.
don't know.
And maybe these people have been left alone by big business, who up till recently, Silver, have probably poured scorn on TikTok. Oh,
Mm.
that's just those Gen Zs. That's their thing. Um, okay. Who else? Simon's asked loads of questions. Let's try and who else?
Okay.
Any others there?
Well, do you think video content on websites is more important than written content? How much is too much? Oh,
Which one was that? Was that say that question again, Sylvia?
that's from Deb Bonner. With the prevalence of platforms like TikTok and the desire for scrollable interactive content, do you think video content on websites is more or will be more important than written content?
Video content.
More important than written content?
It's so interesting. I mean, it really. I know. I don't think there is an answer to that. But video content. Okay, if we think about the SERP, you said at the start, Sylvia, the SERP is a manifestation of audience intent. Like a tree falling in the forest. Does it make a noise? Well, not if nobody hears it. The same as if nobody uses it and clicks and interacts and refines their search, it wouldn't be what it is. So
Yeah.
this is giving people what they want. All those video links we saw in the carousel wouldn't be there if they weren't getting a click. Google doesn't leave a pixel on page one unless it means something. But then we've got in mind what we're starting to see in Gemini, the ability, I don't even need to go to YouTube. Dear Gemini, okay, I want you to look at YouTube for me and research this topic, and then I want you to compile the answers from the most up-to-date authoritative videos, and I want you to build out the answer that I need. So I'm not even watching a lot of videos. If I'm trying to find answers, I will get Gemini and Google to do the heavy lifting, equals quality, equals phenomenal results. I think it's going to be a very exciting year.
Yeah.
Phew. I think we've exhausted the questions now, but guys, thank you so much for listening. Okay, in the final minutes, if there are topics you would like us to cover, oh, hang on. I think I've missed some. Oh, I think a poll ran in the background because I've completely forgot to do what marketing told me to do, which was run this poll. Sorry, guys. So it's like a quick poll. Would you like a demo as we roll into the final seconds? But while you guys fill that, Sylvia, thank you for adding so much value as always.
Oh, thank you, John, for enlightening our perspectives into SEO again.
I couldn't do it without you. So thank you. And we both thank everybody who tuned in, who's watching this live, who's going to watch it in future. So, and again, if there's anything you want us to talk about, drop us a line. If you're not connected up with Sylvia and myself on LinkedIn, then make sure you do that, because we will always welcome questions too, won't we, Sylvia? As I speak for you.
Absolutely. And if you're not a customer, what are you waiting for? We a bunch of lovely people with the best platform out there.
Oh, marketing love you more than they do me right now. So thank you, Sylvia. So wonderful. As we bring this to a close, thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
See you on the
Cheers.
next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.